The sunlight filtered through the stained glass windows of St. Mary's Cathedral, casting little rainbows across the polished oak pews. I'd gotten there early. Clutching the white lace dress, I'd spent 3 weeks hand-sewing for Emma's first communion. My granddaughter, my little sunshine who used to run to me every Tuesday and Thursday after kindergarten, arms wide open, yelling, "Grandma!" loud enough that the other parents would smile. I smoothed the dress across my lap, checking the tiny pearl buttons one more time. Perfect. Everything had to be perfect for Emma's special day. The heavy doors creaked open, and I turned, expecting to see my son Daniel and his wife Jessica. And there they were, Emma between them in a simple white dress from Macy's, not the one I'd made. Jessica's parents followed behind, her mother carrying a professional camera with one of those big lenses. I stood up, smiling, ready to show Emma her surprise dress. Daniel saw me, and his expression shifted. Something cold flickered across his face before he schooled it into something neutral. "Mom," he said, not quite meeting my eyes, "you're here early." "Of course I am," I said, moving toward them. "I wanted to give Emma her dress before the ceremony starts. Look, sweetheart, Grandma made this just for you." "That's thoughtful," Jessica interrupted, her voice tight, "but Emma's already dressed, as you can see." I looked down at my granddaughter. She was staring at the handmade dress with wide eyes, reaching out to touch the lace. "It's so pretty," she whispered. "Emma, stay with Mommy," Jessica said, pulling her back. I tried again. "Well, maybe she can wear it for pictures after?" I just thought. "We have photographers arranged already," Jessica said. "Mother flew them in from California." That should have been my first warning, but I just smiled, folded the dress carefully, and said, "That's wonderful. Should I sit with you all, then? I can save seats while you get Emma checked in with Father Michael." Daniel cleared his throat. "Actually, Mom, those seats are saved for family." The words hung in the air between us. I must have misheard. "I'm sorry, what?" "The front pews are for immediate family," he said, louder this time. "Jessica's parents flew all the way from San Francisco. We need to make sure they have good seats." "Daniel, I am family. I'm Emma's grandmother." Jessica's mother, Diane, stepped forward with this sympathetic smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Of course you are, Linda. What Daniel means is that we have very limited seating for the family section. First Communion is such an intimate ceremony, you understand. Perhaps you could sit a few rows back. You'll still have a lovely view." I looked at my son. My only child, the boy I'd raised alone after his father died of cancer when Daniel was just 12. The young man whose law school tuition I'd paid by refinancing my house. The father whose mortgage down payment came from my retirement savings because I wanted my grandchild to grow up in a safe neighborhood. "Daniel?" I said quietly. He wouldn't look at me. Just adjusted his tie and said, "It's just easier this way, Mom. We'll catch up after, okay?" I stood there holding that white lace dress while my son walked away with his family, walked away from me. I watched them settle into the front pew. Jessica's parents on either side of them like bookends, like guards. There was plenty of room. At least 3 more people could have fit. I moved to the back of the church and sat alone in the last pew, the one where latecomers usually stood. From there, I could barely see Emma's small white figure at the altar, but I saw her turn around once during the processional, scanning the crowd. Her eyes found mine and she waved. This tiny little wave. Jessica's hand immediately redirected her forward. After the ceremony, families gathered on the cathedral steps for photographs. I waited to the side, still holding that dress, watching the photographer arrange my son's family into perfect poses. Jessica's parents flanking the couple, Emma in the center. "Grandparent shots," the photographer called them. "Just not with me." I waited until they finished, walked over with the dress. "Emma, sweetie, I made this for you. Maybe you'd like to try it on later?" "Oh, how lovely," Diane said, taking it from my hands before Emma could reach for it. "We'll make sure she gets it. So much work must have gone into this." "Grandma, are you coming to lunch?" Emma asked, tugging on my sleeve. Jessica bent down to Emma's level. Grandma has other plans today, sweetie. Remember? She's very busy. I opened my mouth to say I had no plans, that I'd cleared my entire day for this, but Daniel was already herding everyone toward the parking lot. We should get going, he said. Reservations at noon. What restaurant? I asked. Maybe I could at least stop by for dessert. It's a private thing, Mom, Daniel said, already walking away. Family only. You understand. I drove home alone, made myself a sandwich I couldn't eat, stared at my phone, waiting for pictures that never came. That evening, Jessica posted 37 photos to Facebook, her parents, in every single one, not one with me. That was May. By Emma's birthday in August, I'd learned not to ask about events anymore. The invitation came via text, adults-only celebration this year, focusing on making it special for Emma with less chaos. I sent a gift. Got a thank you text 3 weeks later. Thanksgiving, Daniel called 2 days before. We're keeping it small this year, Mom. Just trying to reduce stress, you know? Maybe we can do lunch the day after? The day after Thanksgiving, I drove past his house on my way to the grocery store. 15 cars in the driveway and along the street. Through the big picture window, I could see people laughing, holding plates, the dining room table stretched with all its leaves in place. Small, he'd said. I stopped trying to count how many holidays I spent alone. Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, when the card arrived 2 weeks late with a gift card to a restaurant I'd never been to and a printed message. Thanks for everything. What broke me wasn't the big holidays, though. It was the Tuesdays and Thursdays. For 4 years, ever since Emma was 18 months old, I'd been her primary childcare. Tuesday and Thursday, all day, while Daniel and Jessica worked their demanding jobs in the city. I'd fed her, taught her letters, taken her to music class and the park. We had our routines, our special songs, our inside jokes. Then in September, Daniel sent an email. An email, not even a phone call. Mom, Jessica and I have decided to enroll Emma in an extended day program at school. It'll be better for her socialization and consistency. Thanks for all your help these past years. We'll be in touch about visits. Visits. With my own granddaughter. By appointment. I called him. It went to voicemail. I called again. Same thing. Finally, I sent an email asking if I'd done something wrong. If Emma had complained about something. If I could just understand what changed. His response came 3 days later. Mom, you're being dramatic. Jessica just feels like we need to establish better boundaries as a family. Your hovering was making her uncomfortable. Please respect our parenting choices. Hovering. The woman who'd rearranged her entire retirement to help raise their child was hovering. I stopped reaching out after that, stopped calling, stopped sending the weekly texts asking about Emma's week. If they wanted space, I'd give them space. I'd give them an entire galaxy. October came. I joined a painting class at the community center, something I'd always wanted to try but never had time for when I was helping with Emma. Turned out I wasn't half bad at watercolors. The instructor, Margaret, invited me to join her senior travel group. We're doing a 2-week trip through Italy next spring, she said. You should come. Why not? I'd spent my retirement fund on my son's life. Maybe I could spend what was left on mine. I booked the trip, started Italian lessons on YouTube, made friends with 3 other women in the travel group. We met for coffee every Sunday, planning our itinerary, laughing about trying to learn Italian at our age. I posted pictures on Facebook of my art class projects, my new friends, the brochures for Italy. I wasn't trying to make anyone jealous. I was just finally doing things for myself. That's when my phone rang. Daniel. First time in 6 weeks. Italy? He said, skipping any greeting. You're going to Italy? Hello to you too, sweetheart. Yes, I'm going in April. 2 weeks in Tuscany. You didn't mention it. You didn't ask, I said simply. How's Emma? He paused. She's fine. Look, about Thanksgiving. It's okay, Daniel. I'm actually going to my friend Margaret's house this year. Her daughter invited both of us. Another long pause. Oh, Well, that's good, I guess. Is there something you needed? I asked. Because this conversation felt strange, off balance. No, I saw your posts. You seem busy. I am, I said. It's been good for me. After we hung up, I sat there, staring at my phone, trying to understand what had just happened. It almost sounded like he was bothered? But that couldn't be right. He was the one who wanted space. The call came 3 days before Thanksgiving. Not from Daniel, from Emma's kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Patterson. Mrs. Martinez? I hope I'm not overstepping, but I wanted to reach out to you directly. It's about Emma. My heart jumped. Is she okay? Is she hurt? She's not hurt, no. But she's been withdrawn lately. And today, during our Thanksgiving sharing circle, she said something that concerned me. What did she say? Mrs. Patterson's voice gentled. She said she was thankful her grandma was too busy to babysit anymore because it meant grandma must have found new kids who were better. Mrs. Martinez, I've taught Emma since she started school. I know how much she adores you. So I have to ask, is that true? Are you too busy for her? The room tilted. What? No. I've never Mrs. Patterson. I didn't stop babysitting by choice. My son enrolled her in the extended day program. I see. A long pause. And has Emma been told why she doesn't see you anymore? I don't know what she's been told, Mrs. Martinez. Emma has been telling the other children that you don't love her anymore, that you have a new family now. I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, just sat there with the phone pressed to my ear while this kind teacher explained that my granddaughter, my little sunshine, thought I'd abandoned her. I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you this, Mrs. Patterson said, but I thought you should know. After we hung up, I sat at my kitchen table and cried for the first time since all this started. Not for me, for Emma, who was 5 years old and thought her grandmother had stopped loving her. I called Daniel. Voicemail. I called Jessica. Voicemail. I sent a text. We need to talk. Today. It's about what Emma believes about me. 3 hours later, Daniel called back. Mom, I'm in the middle of a work thing. Sit down, I said, in the voice I used to use when he was 12 and had lied about his homework. And listen. I told him about Mrs. Patterson's call, about what Emma believed, about how this wasn't about boundaries or space or any of the excuses he'd been feeding me. This was about my granddaughter's heart. That's not we never said you didn't love her? Daniel stammered. Jessica just explained that you were busy with your own life now, that we needed to give you space. Stop, I said. Just stop. I never asked for space, Daniel. You took it. And in taking it, you've made a little girl believe her grandmother doesn't want her. Is that what you wanted? Silence. I need to see her, I said. Not someday. Not when it's convenient. This weekend. I don't know if this weekend, Daniel, or I show up at your house every single day until you let me in. Your choice. Saturday afternoon, Daniel brought Emma to my condo. Alone. He looked awful, like he hadn't slept. Good. I'll pick her up in 2 hours, he said, not quite looking at me. 4 hours, I said. And Daniel? We will be talking. Soon? Emma stood in my doorway looking smaller than I remembered, uncertain, like she wasn't sure if she was allowed to hug me. Hey, sunshine, I said softly, getting down on her level. I missed you so much. Daddy said you were busy, she whispered. I was never too busy for you, Emma. Never. I thought you were too busy for me. Her face crumpled and then she was in my arms, crying in that way kids do when they've been holding something in for too long. I held her and rocked her and told her over and over that I loved her, that I'd always love her, that nothing could ever change that. We spent the afternoon doing all our old things, made cookies, read stories, did a puzzle. When Daniel came to pick her up, Emma clung to me. Can Grandma come for Thanksgiving? Daniel's jaw tightened. We'll see, sweetheart. That means no, Emma said with a 5-year-old's devastating honesty. I kissed her forehead. It's okay, sunshine. I'll see you again soon. After they left, I made myself a promise. I wasn't going to beg, wasn't going to chase, but I also wasn't going to let them erase me from Emma's life. If that meant supervised visits and careful boundaries, fine. I'd work within those limits. For her, Thanksgiving came and went. I had a lovely time at Margaret's, actually. Her daughter's family was warm and welcoming, and nobody made me feel like I was hovering. 2 weeks before Christmas, my doorbell rang at 9 in the evening. Daniel stood there, and he looked wrecked, tie loose, eyes red, the kind of exhausted that comes from something deeper than missing sleep. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside. He sat on my couch and put his head in his hands. "Jessica's parents have been staying with us. For 3 weeks now. They were supposed to visit for Thanksgiving and leave, but her mom said they should stay through Christmas to help with Emma." I waited. Her mother rearranged my kitchen, said my system was inefficient. She critiques Jessica's parenting constantly, says Emma needs more structure, more discipline, more activities. She signed Emma up for piano lessons and Mandarin classes without asking us. She's redecorated Emma's room because the colors were too stimulating. She goes through our mail, Mom. Our mail. I still didn't say anything. And tonight I came home and found her going through my office, organizing my files. When I asked her to stop, she said I should be grateful she's helping because clearly we can't manage on our own. He looked up at me, and his eyes were swimming. I told Jessica we need to set boundaries, and she said I'm being controlling, that I have issues with authority figures, that maybe I need therapy to work on my relationship with my mother. "And what did you say?" I said maybe I learned to push away the wrong person. His voice broke. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I was trying so hard to make Jessica happy, to be the husband she needed, and her therapist kept saying I had enmeshment issues with you, that I needed to individuate, to put my wife first. But I didn't just put her first. I cut you out, and I let Emma believe, I let her think." He started crying. My grown son, 32 years old, crying like he used to when he was small and scared. I moved to sit beside him. "Daniel, I became them," he said. "I became Jessica's parents, the people who are in our house right now, taking over our lives, ignoring our boundaries, thinking they know better. That's what I did to you." "Yes," I said quietly. "You did. I don't know how to fix this." I was quiet for a long moment, thinking about the year I'd spent being excluded. The holidays alone, the tears, the confusion, the way Emma had looked at me like I was a stranger. "You start," I finally said, "by understanding that I forgive you, because you're my son and I love you. And parents love their children even when their children hurt them." He looked at me with such hope. "But," I continued, and his face fell a little, "forgiveness doesn't mean things go back to how they were. I'm not your free childcare anymore, Daniel. I'm not your emergency contact for everything. I'm not the person you call when you need something but ignore the rest of the time. I understand. I'll see Emma regularly, but we schedule it, and you keep those commitments. No cancellations unless it's a real emergency. No last-minute changes because something better came up." He nodded. "And you need to tell her the truth. Not all of it, she's 5. But you need to tell her that Grandma was never too busy, that we had a misunderstanding, but it's fixed now." "I will. One more thing," I said. "I'm going to Italy in April. I'll be gone for 2 weeks. I'm not canceling it, even if you need help with Emma. You'll figure it out." "You should go," he said. "You should absolutely go." "I will." He left around midnight. The next day, Jessica called me. Her voice was stiff, formal. "Daniel said, we need to apologize to you." "Is that what you want to do?" I asked. "Or what he told you to do?" A long pause. I think we both got carried away. My therapist said that establishing boundaries with in-laws was healthy, but maybe we went too far. "Maybe you did." "My parents are driving me insane," she admitted, and for the first time, she sounded real. "They've completely taken over, and when I try to say something, My mother cries and says she's just trying to help because I seem so stressed. That sounds familiar, I said dryly. I'm sorry, Linda. I really am. I was so worried about you being overbearing that I didn't notice we were replacing you with people who actually are. Jessica, I don't want to be in competition with your parents. I just want to be Emma's grandmother. I know. Can we start over? Maybe not all the way over, but from here? We can try, I said. Christmas morning, Emma ran into my condo with a painting she'd made. I made this for you in art class. It's you and me at the park. 2 stick figures under a bright yellow sun, holding hands. I hung it on my refrigerator, right in the center. Jessica's parents left on New Year's Day. Jessica admitted they'd be back for Emma's birthday, but just for the party this time. Not a 3-week invasion. Daniel started texting me regularly again. Nothing big, just little updates. Emma learned to tie her shoes today. She said the funniest thing at dinner, things he used to share before. In February, we had our first family dinner at my place, just the 4 of us. Emma helped me make her favorite spaghetti, and we all squeezed around my little kitchen table. It was awkward at first, all of us aware of the cracks we were trying to paper over. But then Emma knocked over her milk, and we all jumped up to clean it. And she started giggling. And just like that, it felt almost normal. Tell me about Italy, Jessica said over dessert. Where are you going? I told them about the itinerary, the cooking class in Florence, the villa we'd rented in the countryside. Emma wanted to know if I'd see the Leaning Tower. Daniel looked at me with this mixture of pride and regret. I'm proud of you, Mom, he said quietly, for building a life. Even when I made that hard. I'm proud of me too, I said. I left for Italy in April with Margaret and our friends. For 2 weeks, I didn't think about being a mother or a grandmother. I was just Linda, eating fresh pasta and learning to say per favore and taking terrible photographs of ancient buildings. When I came home, Emma met me at the airport with a sign she'd made. Welcome home, Grandma. Daniel and Jessica stood behind her, smiling. Things aren't perfect, probably never will be. I see Emma twice a week now, regular scheduled times. Birthdays and holidays are negotiated, not assumed. Jessica's parents still visit, but they stay in a hotel, and there are clearer boundaries about their involvement. Some hurts don't fully heal. Sometimes I remember standing in the back of that church, holding a dress nobody wanted, watching my family from a distance. Sometimes I see Emma's face when she thought I didn't love her anymore. Those memories ache. But I also remember that I learned something in the year they pushed me away. I learned that my worth isn't measured by how much I sacrifice, that loving someone doesn't mean letting them treat you any way they choose, that boundaries aren't walls, they're gates that protect what matters. I'm in my painting class this afternoon. Margaret's already planning our next trip, maybe Greece this time. Emma's coming for dinner on Tuesday. Daniel called yesterday just to talk. No agenda, no emergency. My life is smaller than it was when I was running myself ragged, trying to be everything for everyone. But it's mine. And maybe, finally, that's enough. The white lace dress is still in my closet. Emma's grown too big for it now. But sometimes I take it out and remember. Not with bitterness, just remembering. A reminder that I survived being left out, being told I wasn't family. Standing in the back row, I survived it. And then I built something better.